Watch this.
A local woman could have won the Idaho lottery last year, but it was claimed by an out-of-state syndicate. Luckily, she won this year, but lawmakers don't want it to be a matter of luck ever again. Boise's Jewish community is ushering in its latest era as a new rabbi takes over, hoping to preserve the past while exploring a different chapter for its worshipers. Immigration continues to be one of the biggest issues taken up by lawmakers this session. There are several bills over the topic in the State House, two of which were debated in the House Business Committee today. The first would require all Idaho employers to enter their employees' I-9s into the E-Verify database. That's to verify their legal status. The bill sponsors say this bill aligns with federal law and would combat identity fraud. A business owner testified in support of House Bill 704, saying it would ensure that everyone is playing by the same rules.
Idaho law already says you can't knowingly hire unauthorized workers. It already says that. But without universal verification, that law becomes optional. And when it's optional, honest businesses like mine, we lose. If I follow the rules, but my competitor cuts labor costs by hiring illegal workers, that's not competition. Candidly, it's cheating.
Now, as we've reported previously this session, the Idaho Dairymen's Association is against this E-Verify bill. The Dairymen CEO says the state should wait for the feds to take action.
So while we're waiting in limbo for the federal government to do something, are we supposed to continue to allow people like the dairy industry to just flagrantly break the law?
Mr. Narabo.
Chairman Wheeler, Representative Harris. First, I'd like to correct the record that our dairymen do not flagrantly break the law. We complete I-9 forms just like every other employer, and we don't believe it should be on the employer to verify legal status of an individual in country. That should fall on the government, not an employer.
Now, there was discussion over sending the bill to the general orders to fine-tune it, like when it would take effect, but the committee ultimately voted to send it to the House floor. Another bill debated in committee would also make it a misdemeanor for Idaho employers who knowingly hire undocumented people. It would coincide with the E-Verify bill, shielding people who use the system before hiring a potential candidate. Lawmakers sent that bill to the floor as well. A bill trying to keep large amounts of Idaho lottery winnings in state is headed to the governor's desk. Now, it would keep out-of-state groups from meddling in the state's lottery. Justin Corr joining us now. Justin, supporters say this is about keeping the lottery fair.
That's right, Hunter. And I learned about this literally this legislative session. Bill sponsors say out-of-state corporations or syndicates, spooky, have a business model to game the Idaho lottery system. They will track ticket sales in Idaho, and then when they see a certain packet of tickets or game is getting down low on numbers, but large prizes still haven't been won yet, they purchase the remaining tickets in bulk. So they'll spend tens of thousands of dollars per day, but they guarantee they're buying the winning ticket in there somewhere. How big of a problem is this? Senator Jim Guthrie says in a 2-week span last year, one of these syndicates spent a little more than $1 million on tickets, and they won $1.6 million. So that's $500,000 in return on their investment in just 2 weeks. And all of those Idaho lottery winnings are headed out of Idaho.
That certainly is not fairness. It doesn't equate to fairness for your average lottery player, and it doesn't end up honoring the integrity of the lottery, which was to support public schools and other things. Remembering that the jackpots hopefully are for Idahoans, at least their share of them, not syndicates. And again, it shouldn't become a business model.
House Bill 504 would aim to stop this by flagging transactions of more than $5,000 in a day. So that would allow the lottery to immediately look into the purchase. If it's a bulk purchase, they could deny payment of the prize. Also, if a retailer is involved in all this, they could lose their ability to sell lottery tickets.
I think this is a good common sense approach to maintaining the integrity of what the lottery was intended for, and to prevent these out-of-state corporations who have figured out a loophole to gain an advantage in our lottery system, which is supposed to be a game of chance.
And the Senate agreed. They passed the bill 30-4, now headed to the governor's desk for potentially final approval.
I mean, what I would give to have $1 million to be able to put down for $1.6 million on, it's crazy. Okay, so how do these syndicates track those tickets?
Yeah, great question. So they use, this is according to the bill presenter, public records requests. Those are typically available to, make sure that people can maintain and check on the fairness of games, but they're using it to make things unfair like this. Ironic.
So it's not on this open website. You have to request those. That's a lot of requesting.
Yeah, but if you can make $500,000 in 2 weeks, it's worth it.
That's crazy. It's just crazy to me. All right, Justin, thank you. Well, no debate was needed. Hunting is one step closer to becoming Idaho's official state sport. Last week, fourth grader Betty testified in support of House Bill 652. After reading about Idaho's history and learning there wasn't a state sport, Betty did the work to find out what would be a best fit. She asked her friends, family, and the 45 subscribers to her neighborhood newspaper that she runs what they thought. She asked all about it. Now, the results were overwhelmingly in favor of hunting. Today, one of the bill sponsors told the House this would not limit future sports from becoming a part of Idaho's identity.
What this bill does not do, it does not make hunting the exclusive sport of Idaho. So, as the good woman from 33 suggested, if they want to run a bill next year that allows for basketball, or the good gentleman from 1 wants to do couples water skiing, they can absolutely run a bill next year.
Now, the bill passed the floor and is now headed to the Senate. Now to the 411 on the 208. A 21-year-old man is dead after an avalanche in East Idaho. The Clark County Sheriff's Office says 4 snowmobilers triggered a slide. It happened in the Centennial Mountains west of Island Park yesterday. 3 were rescued, but Landon Fox, a 21-year-old man from Minnesota, was pronounced dead at the scene. The Avalanche Center had rated the risk considerable that day, and officials are urging people to check the conditions before heading outdoors. The 2026 election season is officially underway in Idaho. For the first time, candidates will file online at voteidaho.gov, making the process simpler and more accessible statewide. Secretary of State Phil McGrain says the new system eliminates in-person filing and streamlines payments as key filing deadlines begin later this month. New numbers out this morning show Idaho's snowpack is among the lowest in recent history, and experts say it likely won't recover before spring. During a NOAA drought update, regional climate people warned this winter's unusually warm temperatures have taken a serious toll on mountain snow levels. Experts say unless Idaho sees an unusually snowy finish to winter, that could mean tighter water supplies heading into irrigation season and potentially heightened drought concerns this summer. An ancient tradition was revived, all while a new voice takes over the pulpit. Why this moment is decades in the making. The Jewish community gathered this weekend to celebrate the installment of Rabbi Johanna Hershenson. She is taking over from Rabbi Daniel Fink. Now, Fink retired after 30 years of being the first permanent rabbi in the Boise congregation. Well, the celebration this weekend, including repairing the Torah scroll, which hasn't happened in at least 15 years. And there are only a few hundred ritual Torah scribes in the world with the kind of training to do this such work. A historic moment to see at the event, but also another historic moment as Rabbi Johanna steps into the role as the first permanent female rabbi. She follows Rabbi Fink, who had a long career in the political arena. So we sat down with her to see how she plans to handle the politics and to learn more about her.
I was living in Central Oregon for the last 12 years, and I was serving a part-time congregation, and I really wanted to move back into full-time work. And after you live in a beautiful place, you only want to live in beautiful places. I also love history, so coming to CAVI was very appealing. There's a long tradition, a long history here, and at the same time, a practice of being current and relevant in every age. And that's exciting to me.
How does it feel knowing that, yeah, you're the first female to kind of take this over and be officially in the rabbi position at this congregation?
I had the lovely experience with a member here who confided in me after a couple of months that she wasn't so sure that a woman should be a rabbi, and she was grateful that I proved her wrong. I feel lucky that I didn't know she was having those thoughts until after I had proved her wrong. I have very quickly fallen in love with this place, both the city and the congregation. And it's super exciting to collaborate with the people here. There's a history to uphold and build upon, and there's a lot of interest in exploring what the next chapter might look like.
When it comes to the former rabbi, he's, kind of taken this ownership on a political stage to speak for the congregation. Is that something you're looking at doing if the time calls for it?
Well, Rabbi Dan is a landmark in this community, in the congregation, but right in Boise, and a voice of conscience that people turn to. I enjoy turning to him in that regard. I also am committed to social justice, and we're good colleagues in that regard. There's plenty of room for both of us. There are times that I'll have to step up to be that voice for the congregation. And what's really lucky for me to have him here is that there are times where I can leave that space and focus on maybe some more pastoral and those sorts of needs here in the congregation.
Idaho's tied to anti-Semitism. There was swastikas on Anne Frank Memorial. I guess, how are you prepared to handle situations like that as well?
That is a part of the job, facing anti-Semitism and being a voice for the Jewish community in the face of anti-Semitism is a really important part of leadership in any Jewish community. I think the way we combat anti-Semitism is by being a good neighbor, building relationships with other faith communities. I'm certainly getting to know my clergy colleagues here in Boise, and I really do believe that that is about making Boise safer for everybody. It doesn't only fight anti-Semitism, it fights all kinds of hatred when neighbors really stand up and support one another.
Now, she also says her first step as rabbi is to listen, gain an understanding of who the congregation is and what their needs are. Then she plans to support it in any way that may come up. More than 100 years old, the Idaho Black History Museum stands in the center of Julia Davis Park. The building was originally Idaho's first black church, founded in 1909. Then it was built in 1921. It first stood on Warm Springs and Broadway, but then it was moved to its current location in 1998. It reopened in 1999 after a remodel to get it ready for visitors. That included the cleaning of more than 1,000 pieces of stained glass. And while it wasn't the quickest process, good things take time, as John Miller explains in this 208 redial.
It's probably fair to say you folks go through a lot of toothbrushes in this place.
Yeah, we do, actually.
And it's got nothing to do with teeth,
No,
does it?
It's got a lot to do with glass.
You can see how dirty those are.
Those are actually pieces of stained glass. And it's Sherry Lindley's job to make them look like windows again.
It takes a certain kind of insanity to enjoy doing this sort of thing.
And a certain kind of dedication.
The building is, to my knowledge, practically complete.
Idaho's Black History Museum has a new look. New walls with new paint over new floors under a new roof.
I think the windows will be the last thing.
That's why Sherry is cleaning, labeling, and laying out more than 1,000 pieces of glass.
Windows by numbers, huh?
Yeah.
16 panels in all, 80 years old and not all in good shape.
No, we've had to do some gluing. Some pieces that were broken have been glued. I've tried to save as much of the glass as possible.
Replacing it where she has to.
It's a good project, and I think it's a good thing to do.
A good thing she's been doing for about a year, along with other Boise businesses and organizations who have turned this old building into this new-looking one, and old stained glass pieces into new stained glass windows, donating a whole lot of time.
Over 250 hours.
And a whole lot of toothbrushes.
Destroyed several.
So when it's all done, your biggest reward will be
Seeing it. It's going to be a wonderful addition to the community.
Well, we may not get to enjoy a beautiful sunset like those we just saw tonight, as we have an overcast sky across all of central and southern Idaho. Temperature is still in the 50s in Boise and Twin Falls. We're in the 40s up in the mountains. It just doesn't look as beautiful as our Sunday when we had that warmth and the blue skies in play yesterday. It's quiet now for most areas, but tomorrow we have a super soaker of a day. First alert weather conditions on deck from morning to night for your Tuesday due to widespread and persistent precipitation. We're talking hours of rain in the valleys. Rain will fall as high as 6,000 feet tomorrow. Snow above that, but that also means maybe from that 4,000 to 6,000 foot mark, we'll put rain on top of snow, heavy rain at times. That will increase mountain rock slide and avalanche risk. Not a good day to venture into the backcountry. Avalanche risk will be high, and avoid steep terrain at all costs. In fact, I've seen a couple agencies recommending just avoiding places like Banks Loman Road if you can at all until this precipitation wraps up on Wednesday. Across the lower elevations, I think our biggest risk, besides it just being an uncomfortably wet day, is that hydroplane risk with ponding water in place. So mind your following distance and your speed tomorrow, as that rain will continue to come down off and on throughout the day, maybe not even off, mostly on, courtesy of this big plume of moisture. You see the subtropical roots. That means temperatures won't move a whole lot tomorrow. We will cool a little bit, but that rain will become persistent as this plume slowly starts shifting to the south. For some perspective, Eugene, Oregon, just since midnight, has seen almost 2 inches of precipitation. We could see numbers that high as far as liquid equivalent across our Boise Mountain and West Central Mountain locations. Over the
the last couple of hours, we started to see some light snow flying over the central mountains and in northeast Oregon. Still mostly dry across the I-84 corridor, but we won't stay that way all that much longer. So isolated rain and snow showers this evening in the mountains. Snow levels even at 3 o'clock tomorrow morning, still above 6,000 feet. Here comes the rain for the Boise area. We'll be in the upper 40s at 3 a.m. There is no chance of snow across the Treasure or Magic Valleys as our temperatures will be too warm. By the time you're heading out the door tomorrow, here's 8 a.m. You can see that rain has become widespread across the entire Snake River Plain. Snow levels will drop a bit, so we could see some light accumulating snow in our mountain valleys, but rain is likely the bigger culprit behind the very messy conditions you'll encounter up in the higher elevations. It takes all the way until about 7 or 8 o'clock tomorrow evening to start seeing the rain tapering off from west to east across the Boise area, holding on a little longer in the Magic Valley. And in the mountains, we'll continue to see light snow showers. And then here comes Wednesday. This is Wednesday morning. You can see bursts of snow across the mountains. We will see some stray rain showers in the valleys. That's a cold front coming in that will clear out by dinner time Wednesday, but that wind will really pick up. So east of Boise, we're talking gusts of 40 to 45 miles per hour on Wednesday, coming off of that wet Tuesday. So a couple days of very impactful weather. This is a precipitation potential from late tonight, early tomorrow through Wednesday evening. We could see a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of rain across the lower elevations, maybe more in the Magic Valley. I do think we'll see some rainfall records challenged tomorrow. And here's the possibility of that very heavy rain across the central mountains. Again, could be or will be snow above 6,000 to 7,000 feet. So look at the potential for our ski resorts. We could see 12 inches or more for Brundage and Tamarack at the summits, but below 6,000 feet, it could get real slushy real fast. So again, it will just depend on timing, elevation, and time of day, what kind of precipitation you'll see outside your window. And unfortunately, it is too much of a good thing as far as that snowfall goes. We have an avalanche watch in place for the Central Mountains and the Salmon River Mountains as well, as we'll get that rain, wind, and snow on top of already weakened snowpack. So backcountry enthusiasts, be very, very mindful of conditions tomorrow. We'll wake up to low to mid 40s. Soggy conditions already in play early on. We'll continue to see that rain off and on throughout the day. Great day for puddle jumping, not a great day just to be outside generally. So unearth the rain gear, have the umbrella handy. If you need to wash the car, Mother Nature will give you a good pre-rinse tomorrow. And then we'll see temperatures rise into the low 50s for the rest of the work week, mid 50s heading into the end of February and the beginning of March. A couple more showers pop into the picture over the weekend. All right, 523, let's take a look at your traffic conditions out there. It is getting busy on the connector. This is a live look at the Flying Y in Boise, that westbound traffic coming from the airport and downtown, of course, all starting to merge now onto westbound I-84. That is creating a backup that stretches now all the way out almost to Eagle Road. Once you get past that, you'll tap the brakes a little bit as you get from Meridian into Nampa. Doesn't look all that bad across Canyon County. 2026, a couple slowdowns as well, but so far it'll take you just about half an hour to get to Boise from Caldwell on your Monday afternoon.
All right, let's take a look at some of your comments. We have Ken who says the 208 Idaho should be working with the feds to improve migrant worker visas. E-Verify is reinventing the wheel or adding a fifth wheel. We've been covering this quite a bit. We've heard from the Dairy Association, other farmers too, and they're just saying let's wait for the feds. So something to watch out for. Then we also have Kurt in Eagle who says, Hunter, did you ever find out how to subscribe to 9-year-old Betty Grandy's Gazette? We just sent another email. She's a busy woman.
Continue with us and watch free now on the KTVB Plus app everywhere you stream.